And hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of JMU Sound Off. I am Jonathan McNamara from Richmond, Virginia. There has been a lot of talk this past week about a new product from the Montpelier Collective called Champions Drive. This is a bourbon that not only is going to enhance the tailgate experience this fall, but it's also going to play an important role in supporting the mission of the Montpelier Collective. So we thought it would be great to have two of the people who are intimately involved from the Montpelier Collective board in the development of this product, but also to get some of the people from our partners in this involved in telling us a little bit more about how this project was created and to get into a little about what makes this product so special and something that is going to be very desirable in the JMU community as we not only go throughout the fall, but for the follow-up editions of Champions Drive. And we thought the two best people to lead this discussion initially would be two members of our board, Joe Shoker and Steve Brown. So gentlemen, I know you were at the beach today, enjoying a little bit of relaxing time before the football season kicks off. Steve, I'm going to let you drive this conversation because I know you being there with Joe gives you the opportunity to really have an intimate discussion about the development of this, but also to speak specifically to why this is so critical to the Montpelier Collective and our ability to support our NIL initiative at JMU, which I can speak firsthand to from talking to all of the coaches at JMU. This is really critical to our sustained success of all of our athletic programs on campus. So Joe and Steve, I'm going to kick it to you to have a little bit of introduction conversation again into how this Champions Drive product was developed. And Joe, I know from your background specifically, can speak to how this product kind of sits in the bourbon landscape from when you have many choices at the ABC store on where this product will land. So Steve, kicking it to you.
Well, I'm the lesser of the folks here that I was not engaged in this other than editing the licensing agreement and helping from the board standpoint. But Jake Coons, Cliff Wood, you, Jonathan, and this man sitting right next to me, what I all call the bourbon expert, at least on the East Coast and maybe in the United States, is sitting next to us. And so I'm going to throw it to him in just a second. But, we need a sustained amount of revenue for the Montpelier Collective, and we're looking for sustainable type of revenue streams. This is one of them. So Joe can talk about it. We're going to do 3 runs of this bourbon. We'll do many more if it's successful, which we think it will be. And Joe will talk about the taste and all that kind of good stuff. But if we can do that and get a revenue stream and bring in money so that we can retain and recruit our athletes, it'll be important for us. So let me ask Joe a question, let him start talking about the bourbon aspect of it. Give folks a little bit of background, Joe, on kind of your understanding of bourbon, kind of where this sits, but I'll kind of get into, how you're plugged into bourbon, why this is Champions Drive is one of the best ones that you've ever tasted.
Well, my brother had a connection with a good friend that was a friend of the Trace at Buffalo Trace. And that's a private group of friends of the master distiller and the president there. And we had a taste testing, kind of an educational session as a fundraiser about 12, 13 years ago here there in the Harrisonburg. And we all kind of fell in love with it. And it was an emerging trend in the American culture of bourbon. And it was following a Scotch trend that had been in place for 10, 15 years. And as the story goes, my brother came on as a friend of the Trace, and I too came on as a friend of the Trace. And we're very involved with that distillery at that bourbon producer, and that kind of fostered the education of what good bourbon is and how it's made, the history of it. It's uniquely American in the history of bourbon and the quality of well-made bourbon. So that kind of brought me on board. And as collectives came on board and fundraisers for university, there were NIL organizations all over the country that were producing a bourbon or even a beer. I think one of the schools in our state has a beer, but we looked over a year ago, we started looking at the opportunity and the possibilities of producing our own. And we wanted to produce a spirit that was suitable and justifiable for your best top shelf bourbons. And we did a lot of research, obviously, into what's good, what's made good. There's 2 primary bourbon sources, the MGP process in Indiana and, of course, Kentucky. And
we don't want anything to do with Indiana, right?
No, not at all.
We're into
not at all. We'll stay away from that. So we had the opportunity to bring the Swilled Dog Distillery staff to Harrisonburg and sit down with 6 barrel samples and do an extensive barrel pick there at my speakeasy, where we were testing the 6 possibilities for a sponsored bourbon by the Montpelier Collective. And you'll see later in other graphics, and I've posted some in social media, of the notes I took and the table with all the craft containers sitting out in the tastings. And we chose 3 for this year's rollout. One this fall in time for football season, which will be purchasable online. One this winter, which we're hoping is going to be available in Virginia ABC stores as well as online. And then one for the spring. And the first one we chose, and I guess there's more to the story. Jake and we spent a lot of time going through names, talking with lawyers and copyright attorneys and what we could use and not use as far as our names go. And gosh, we had so many cool names, and even an Uncle Ron possibility, but none of that materialized. So we looked at JMU and the campus and what would be an affinity with football and fall tailgates. And that's where we came up with the word Champions Drive and the concept of the tailgate. So this first year series will be the tailgate series. And just as a brief overview, we chose the best tasting of the 6, and it was a double oaked, wheated, 107 proof bourbon, an MGP bourbon. And all of the raw tastes were directly out of the barrels, which are typically 115, 118 or higher proof. And then we can water that down as we choose to produce a liquid. One of the top selling bourbons in the industry. I've had the honor to do 2 different barrel picks at Buffalo Trace with that, and it's like 130 out of the barrel, and it's diluted down to 90 proof, and it's extremely popular.
So why pick a double oaked? What was the thinking in picking the double oaked?
Double oaked is very popular in the industry. Toast, smoke, double oak, these are all flavor profiles that can be manipulated by the wood in the charred barrels and the flavor that you get as a result of that. Double oaked is just really, it's really good. It's really tasty.
Got that rich caramel kind of taste to it with some other flavors.
Yep. And I think Kim's going to give us some tasting comments. But and then the wheated, I'm a big wheated fan.
Yeah.
Wheated right now. And wheated is smooth. It's sweet. It's great on the palate. Men and women like wheated bourbons.
That's coming out at Christmas. That's the Christmas one.
No, this one. The first one's wheated.
Oh, the first one's wheated.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Wheated double oak. Got it.
Yes, it's a wheated double oaked. And then 107 is a proof that's right there. It's higher than 80 or 90 or 100, your bottle and bond 100, but 107 is a popular proof and is attached to one of the most popular wheated bourbons in the industry. So we chose that 107 as a pointer, again, to good quality bourbon. This is a 5-year bourbon. It's not a 2 or a 3-year bourbon. There's bourbon whiskeys out there that aren't even 4-year bourbons, not even legally real bourbons. We wanted to stay away from that. Folks can mix those with cocktails and Coke or whatever, but our product is going to be for the true bourbon fan to be drank, as Freddie Johnson says, either neat or with ice or with water or with a mixer. So it's going to be what we feel a home run.
Perfect.
So Joe, I wanted to ask you also if you would be so kind as to introduce some of the other members of the team that have been involved, not just from the Montpelier Collective board, but also from our partners at Swill Dog. So I'm going to bring them on screen, and if you can go around the horn and just introduce them, and we'll go through a conversation just about how, again, their work has been so integral to this process as well. Two of these of our guests today are JMU grads. So Joe, the floor is yours again.
Okay, so I'm leaning forward because I am a senior citizen here. There's Kim, and she's a class of 05. We've been working with her on marketing, and she's been a delight to work with. There's Darcy Lacey, who's class of 01, and oh my gosh, OMG, look what she's got behind her. So we know what she's got. And then there's Rebecca, and we will not discuss her alma mater.
2116, that's all you got to know.
Yeah, because we would probably have some social media faux pas if we did. But anyway, we appreciate Rebecca. And these three ladies are staff at Swilled Dog. And I got to tell you, when we were looking at this in this conception almost a year ago, we were looking around at distilleries on who to work with. And, you know, the comment came up, well, Virginia distilleries, but we chose that, did not necessarily want to do that. But Swill Dog is a player, a national player, graphics, marketing. And I went out and bought some of their product, and it was good. I was impressed. So these three ladies are much appreciated, and we'll let them comment. Kim, you can kind of kick things off here.
Yeah, well, Darcy and Rebecca, they're not staff at Swill Dog, but we do think that we have the best design team. They work at Watermark, which is a design firm in Charlottesville. But yeah, I mean, we're just really excited to be a part of this project. Our team at Swill Dog, we love collaborating with cool people. The team at Montpelier Collective has been a blast to work with. We also love creating projects that make a difference. And so we're excited to craft a premium bourbon experience that supporters of JMU and alumni can be proud of and get behind. And as Jonathan and Joe mentioned, you know, we have ties to the university. One of our owners is an alumni as well as myself. And JMU is right in our backyard. So our distillery is right across the mountain from Harrisonburg. And so all of that combined with our passion for athletics, it just made sense for us to be part of this project. So we're very excited.
Where are you guys located? I know you're in West Virginia, but you said right across the mountain. Which town are you in?
Yeah, we're located in Pendleton County, Upper Track, West Virginia, which is about 10 minutes outside of Franklin. So we're about 45 minutes from Harrisonburg.
And we can order your product online, correct?
You can go to swilldog.com and order any of our products. We ship to 47 states. So yeah, go grab it.
And Darcy and Rebecca, I was going to ask you, as somebody who's first of all a SMAG grad from JMU, is very interested in the creative process for how a brand is created around the bourbon. Can both of you speak to just that? I know obviously there was input from people like Joe and Jay Coons, but speak to the graphic development of the brand around this product. Maybe start with you, Rebecca, and kind of go around from your team's perspective of how this came to be.
I feel like Darcy actually might be a better starting place for this, as she created a lot of the
Sure.
brief for this project.
I think that Joe and Steve and Kim gave us a lot of great direction, but I think in creating a bottle that represents JMU and represents our school and our athletes, you want to think about those iconic moments. When you enter campus, you see those two dog paws. You're looking at the back of Bridgeforth. Newman Lake is on your left. I mean, that's an iconic moment for our campus. So that was something that got us excited. And we think anyone who sees that bottle will say, oh, I know that view. And it'll be something people want to collect. There will be an additional piece on these bottles that is collectible, and hopefully you want to collect all three. So just thinking through those moments and connecting. I'm also a fan, not just alumni. I'm a convo lot when I come and tailgate. So that is going to be a part of the package design, so that you're you're not just selling a bourbon, you're really trying to connect to the people who are coming to the tailgate. And I think the package was meant to feel elevated, to match the quality of the liquid, but also represent our school, which in my opinion is friendly and welcoming. And we wanted it to feel both welcoming and elegant.
It's not the first time that Swill Dog's done a college type of a run, right? Tim, you can talk a little bit about the West Virginia run you did, which is going to be similar, I guess, in the way we're doing it with our 3 bottles, but you guys had a very successful run with WVU.
Yes, we have created a bourbon collection for Country Roads Trust, which is West Virginia University's NIL program. The bourbon collection is called 1863, and it has been very successful. We're actually in our 3rd release right now, getting ready to finish the collection. And so we've seen a lot of success. West Virginia fans have been very excited about the collection. So we're hoping for similar success with this one. And we have no doubt that the launch is going to be successful next week.
Well, we'll outdo West Virginia. You don't have to worry about that.
Well, one last, just from anybody from the creative team behind this, from start to process developing this, that to create a product that people could not only be proud of is obviously a lot of work. Can you go get our insight into just what those sessions were like when you were throwing around some of the graphic ideas and some of the creative concepts? I know Joe said there were a number of names. Just take us behind the scenes of what those discussions were like, and how cool is it for you all to see that now come to life with an actual physical bottle that people are going to get their hands pretty soon in the weeks to come.
I think for naming, maybe Joe and Steve can talk. I mean, you started to mention Uncle Ron. Like, there was a lot of things being thrown around, but since it's not the school itself, you have to watch trademarks. So I think the tailgate concept is awesome in that it connects to the experience, but, you know, we don't have to worry about stepping on certain trademarks that the school might own.
And Joe, take us maybe into those sessions when you were kind of in the early days of creating this product, because again, I think one of the important things about this project is that this was not something that was created overnight. You really put a lot of work in with everyone that was involved to make sure that this was a product that fans would identify with, and that makes it that much more special, not only as a collector's item, but something they're going to want to have at their tailgates as we go throughout the year.
Yeah, Jake and I had many phone calls, some into past midnight, and I would pull over to gas station, and we're sitting there talking, and a lot of creative ideas. When you get 2 entrepreneurs heads together, the ideas start flowing. And I think Jake actually came up with the Champions Drive. We talked about Bluestone. We talked about words that are iconic with JMU fans and patrons and alumni, but they were all off the list as far as the attorneys and the copyright went. So we had to find something. And even the word champions, we went back and forth on an apostrophe S versus an S, grammatically speaking.
That was my fault.
But again, a lot of thought. We have literally been hands-on developing this for 9 months. Our first, when we looked at the agenda notes for Montpelier Collective, which we legally have to keep because we're a 501 chapter. So we went back and looked at our notes, and we began this discussion back in January of this year. And just back and forth from the ribbon, from the jeweled, what Kim calls the dog tag, I call it the JMU jewel. We just looked at every aspect of the bottle, even the shape of the bottle, and how much bourbon it would show in that nice, smooth, cornered shape with the neck and the logo up on top of the bottle. This is truly going to be an iconic member of bourbon collectors' top shelf. You know, they're going to want to buy a bottle for the tailgate or more, because it's going to run out. They're going to want a bottle for their home to drink, and they're going to want a bottle to keep for perpetuity, generational. You know, I'm here at the beach with the 4th generation of Shokers and JMU fans, You're going to want to have that bottle collectible that goes to your children and their children as a very collectible item in the JMU folklore of tailgates and game day experiences. So a lot of thought went into the label, and Darcy and Rebecca probably were involved in all that. And just, we wanted to produce something that the JMU Nation would be proud to possess, to drink, to collect, and to gift.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank the three ladies on our screen for everything you did to make this possible, because again, it takes a village to create a product like this that the JM Universe is soon to get their hands on. So just on behalf of everybody, not only this platform, but the Montpelier Collective board, thank you all for your work. I know that your work is really honestly just beginning, because there's 2 more launches of this product that will come out this year. But thank you again for helping, again, not only to create a product that's going to be something people are really proud of, but for the end of the day, your contributions are directly going to impact the mission of the Montpelier Collective, which is allowing us to serve more student athletes on campus, which is what this is really all about. So to our JMU grads, thank you. Rebecca, thanks for being willing to wear a little bit of purple to support that school in Harrisonburg. We know you're proud and true about your support for Virginia Tech, but we're just glad that your Hokie blood can help us create a great product as well.
Yeah, of course, it was a pleasure.
Awesome. With that, Steve and Joe, I'm going to keep you guys on screen for one last part of the conversation, because I think it's important just logistically to drive home a couple things really quickly. Steve, one more time, why is this so critically important that we sell this entire run out to bring in additional revenue to the collective? Because what role that plays in making all of our athletic programs on campus successful. Both you, Steve and Joe, please speak to that aspect one more time.
Yeah, we need sustainable streams of revenue for the collective in terms of keeping good athletes at JMU and recruiting athletes to come to JMU. And I know people are going to say, well, gee, I wish it wasn't like that. Well, we could stick our head in the sand and say we wish it wasn't, but that's what we have. So part of what we're doing, and we're raising money, obviously, through donations, but at the end of the day, having revenue streams like this will be helpful. Thousands and thousands of our fans drink bourbon. This is a no-brainer for our fans. This is easy. This 1,200 bottle run, I think, will go quickly. I think we'll be surprised how quickly this goes. And then they'll be clamoring for us to have, multiple thousand bottle runs on the next couple, which is what we're planning to do. So for us to do that, it then adds money to the coffers. We get a percentage of every bottle that's sold, goes to the collective. That money goes directly then to the student athletes. So it allows us to be able to do that on another avenue in terms of another stream. We don't have to ask you folks out there to write a check. Now, we're still very interested in you writing a check. So don't think just buying the bourbon's enough unless you want to buy 10 cases of the bourbon. I promise if you buy 10 cases, I will not ask you for a donation to the Montpelier Collective for at least 10 weeks. But after the 10 weeks and you've drunk your 10 cases, then I'll probably ask you for some more money. Joe, what do you think? Same thing?
That's funny. Yeah. The great thing about JMU that distinguishes us above so many other universities is our fan base, is our alumni base. I played football at JMU in the late 70s. We were Division III. We were ranked +1 in the nation.
Known as Joe the Toe. I watched Joe the Toe kick.
So the DNA of our football program, this 52+, 53+ football program, is success, and it's the drive of a champion. It's what makes all of us want to follow the program. It's what all of us become proud of. We've been nationally ranked at different levels over the 50-some year history of the program. We've been national champions. We've been top 25. We've set the record for ESPN Game Day. These are no small accomplishments. And our fan base, our alumni base, our player team base is so rich in quality and rabid fandom that to be honest with you, I get choked up talking about it. I told these guys, I said, people will have tears in their eyes hearing about this. We wanted to produce the best possible product for our fans and our patrons that we possibly could. We did not hurry it. We did not jump into it and produce something quickly. We really did our due diligence in producing this product and the rest of the year's products, the winter release and the spring release, that we wanted people to be proud of it. And the JMU athletics experience is epic. It's nationally known. We are the gem of athletics in the United States and a mid-major group of 5 athletic program. We've won national championships in women's and men's sports. We are the delight of the state of Virginia. And what we've produced here with this Champions Drive epitomizes the drive of a champion and our DNA and our purpose in athletics.
Awesome. And Joe, I think that's the perfect way to wrap this, but I did want one logistics thing. So there are people out there who you've hooked them now. They understand the quality of the product. They understand the mission. So what happens next? So obviously there is going to be an exclusive window for Montpelier Collective donors. So if you're watching this before we get to is it the 16th? Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe.
18th.
The 18th. You're going to have an opportunity to make a donation to the Montpelier Collective, to have an opportunity to have that exclusive window. And then whatever is left of that 1,200 bottle run will be available to the general public starting on the 19th of August, correct?
It's going to be the 20th. The 18th is going to be a patrons notification where you can find this and order. And then the general public will have what's left to order on the 20th.
Awesome. And the best way to find out all that information, as always, is montpeliercollective.com. We're going to be putting out additional information on all our social media channels. If you have more questions about it, you can always direct message us through those accounts. But we cannot stress enough, montpeliercollective.com. Make that donation. Again, outside of any benefit that you're going to get in terms of the bourbon, no matter how much of a donation you make to the collective, you're making a direct impact in the success of every one of our programs on campus. I want to stress that one more time. If you talk to the football coaches, the volleyball, softball, baseball, basketball, they have all been consistent in their saying that the landscape of college athletics has changed. And one of the most important things that is going to decide if we're able to compete not only on the top of the Sun Belt standings, but on the top of the national landscape is going to be making sure that we have consistent support for our NIL initiative here at JMU. And that means the Montpelier Collective. So that we can invest in student athletes. Want to highlight one more time also that this is not just on the field success you're investing in connections to the community, helping the Boys and Girls Club, Habitat for Humanity, the American Red Cross. Student athletes on campus have been doing incredible work all through the summer, and we'll be doing additional work as we go throughout the year to help support those nonprofit organizations, invest in their missions with their time and their brands. That's what you're also supporting when you support the collective. So with that, I guess we'll wrap up. Guys, Steve, Joe, any last thoughts before we call it a day? And again, continue to push our efforts towards making this release the most successful event that it could possibly be for the collective.
The only thing that I'll say is that it also, not only does it help the sports part, but it helps the overall brand of JMU. So the athletics is the front porch of the university. We're a massive front porch. And as Joe said, we are the diamond front porch. But that also gets you to the rest of the side of the university, which is the academic side. The Champions Drive is just not for athletics. The Champions Drive is everything that everybody that goes to JMU has. We have a drive in the business world. We have a drive in everything that we do. So, this brand goes to everything. So the more we do on the athletic side, the more it helps the overall university.
Awesome.
Go Dukes.
Go Dukes.
Order early, order a lot.
Amen.
Gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your vacation again. And we just want to say one more time to Rebecca, Kim, Darcy, everyone who helped to make this project possible, Jake Coons, Cliff Wood, other members of the board who have been instrumental in helping this become a reality. Thank you. And then finally, thank you to everyone who continues to support the collective. It's because of your investment, whether it's in your time as a volunteer, your investment of financial resources, or just helping to amplify the mission of the collective via social media and those one-on-one individual conversations you have with your fellow JMU grads. all of you are making a real mark on our ability as a group and as a collective to help this program continue to advance in the future. And we never want to take that for granted. And that's why we will always end with a thank you. And on behalf, as always, of all of our sponsors of JMU Sound Off, the Montpelier Collective, Skyline Financial, Where's Woody, Talent Corps, Your Purple Nation, and Shoker Enterprises, thank you for helping us bring these conversations to you each and every week. And with that, we look forward to all of those who will get a hands on the Champions Drive Bourbon over the weeks to come. It's going to be an awesome time to be a Duke as we head into the football season, and tailgates galore, both home and on the road. Hope you have a bottle of Champions Drive or two with you wherever you're enjoying JMU athletics. With that, go Dukes. We'll talk to you soon.